Hi friends, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to an A to Z of romance recommendations video, which is a rapid fire style video where I recommend a book for every letter of the alphabet. And I have not filmed one of these since March of last year, so I am incredibly rusty. I have had this list, the one that I'm filming today, sitting in my queue, pinned to film for almost a year. It just kind of has been one of those things that I have to build myself back up to, because it does take a bit of post filming concentration because I don't grab all of the book covers because usually they're all digital titles. We're a bit rusty, and this is rapid fire, which means I'm not giving you a giant plot summary. I'm giving you the title, the author, and then some keywords or a one sentence summary of the book. I do love filming these. I think these are really fun to have as a bit of a record, and since it's been a while since I've filmed one of these and put one of these lists together, these books are all books that I read last year or earlier than that, so I have new material to make more of these lists going forward. And before anyone comes at me about A to Z rules, the letter can be in the title, it can be in the author's name, it can start with that letter, or for the really tricky letters, as long as it's somewhere in the title or in the author's name, it counts, because this is not a serious thing. This is just for fun. For A, I have Ascendent by Tal Bauer. This is an political thriller about a Russian astronaut who is training in the US, who is also in love with the Russian president. It is a spin-off from one of his other series, but these characters are excellent, and they put you through the emotional ringer. B is for Beauty and the Blacksmith by Tessa. This is a Spindle Cove novella. It is about a young woman whose mother has declared that she is going to marry a wealthy bachelor, but she falls for the town blacksmith, as you do. C is for Change of Heart by Canterbary. This is a contemporary romance about a female surgeon who spends her summer holidays crashing weddings, and at one of these weddings she has a one-night stand with a guy and then finds out that he is one of the new residents at her hospital, and she's on the ethics committee. D is for Rosie and the Dreamboat by Thorne. This is a very short novella about a woman who has gone out on a Valentine's Day spa day with her sister and ends up trapped in a flotation tank and is rescued by a very charming fireman. E is for Extra Wit by Witt. This is an queer romance. It is about a happily married couple who decide to add a third to their relationship, and they end up with a very sassy submissive who enters their lives. It's a long book, but it's a really good time. F is for Famous Last Words by C.W. Farnsworth. This is a college hockey romance between the captain of the hockey team, who's reasonably cocky, and a young woman who is studying marine biology, and their relationship gets quite complicated. G is for Given to the Ghoul by Desiree M. Niccoli. This is a paranormal monster romance. It is also a novella length for memory. In this world, women are sacrificed to the desert in order to satiate the ghouls so that they won't attack the towns. However, when our main character is sacrificed, she discovers that maybe the ghouls aren't actually the bad guys in this story. It's excellent. H is for The Headmaster by Tiffany Reisz, which is the story of a young teacher who arrives at a gothic-looking boys' boarding school where things just seem very old-fashioned, and she ends up falling for the headmaster there and discovers that all is not what it seems about this school. This is my favourite Tiffany Reisz book ever, hands down. I is for In the Wreckage by Hailey. This is an sci-fi romance about soldiers who have been turned into superhumans, or in this case they're called metahumans. It's a romantic suspense story and lots of things happen. J is for Just Friends by Saxon. This is an friends to lovers romance about friends who see each other again for the first time after many, many years. This one does feature some epilepsy rep in it. K is for Kharma by Shon. This is an excellent novella about a couple who are completely opposite, but also completely perfect for one another, and the FMC is a total badass. Love her. L is for Looking by Katrina. This is a polyamorous contemporary romance about a couple who are looking for a third, and they find the perfect one. This one does feature really good communication in it, so if you're looking for that, it's a good one. Also, Katrina Jackson, amazing. M is for Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks. This is about Callum, who is trying to inherit his family's undertaking business, but he has been told he has to get married by his 35th birthday in order for that to happen. And that's when we meet Lark, who is a recent widow who doesn't realise she's moved in next door to a funeral home. So that does cause a little bit of conflict. N is for Nobody's Hero by McMaster. This is a post-apocalyptic romance where the world is basically a wasteland and everybody needs to do anything they can in order to survive. There are some paranormal characters in this book. It's a really interesting one because they're not your standard vampires, werewolves, etc. O is for Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. This is a contemporary romance set during a destination wedding, and our FMC is the sister to the bride and the ex-girlfriend of the groom, and she ends up having a 1 week only whirlwind romance with the groom's best friend. Only you know, it extends past that week and is an excellent romance. P is for Paladin's Faith by T. Kingfisher. This is part of the Saint of Steel series. It's actually the 4th book in the series. You have a political spy and the ex-paladin of a dead saint who is rather self-sacrificing and adorable. We love Shane. Plus there's demons and a road trip, and it's excellent. The entire series is amazing. If you haven't read it, please go read it. It is delightful. Q is for the Queen of Attolia by Megan Whalen Turner. This is book 2 in a series, but it is a really cool political fantasy with some romantic elements. In this case, we are following the Queen of Attolia, who has had her kingdom broken into twice by Eugenides, who is a thief, and on the second time, she decides that she is going to prove that no one does that to her twice. I think this was my favourite book in the series. R is for The Refiner by Kristy Marie, and this is a contemporary romance between a plastic surgeon and a woman who turns up with the child of her sister, who is apparently the daughter of him. I probably could have phrased that better. Anyway, they decide to co-parent said child, one of them more reluctantly than the other. S is for Somebody to Love by Carla D. Guzman. This is an accidental fake dating romance with an old friend while on holiday in Bali with another group of friends who are being annoying kind of story. Like it's a summer read. T is for 2 Weeks Notice by Whitney G. This is a contemporary romance set in an office with a alpha-hole boss and his very fed up assistant who is trying to find the loophole to get out of her contract of working for him because she's had enough. It's very steamy. U is for Underneath It All by Kate Canterbury. This is the first book in the Walsh family series, and it is the unexpected romance between an architect who works for his family's architectural business and a school teacher who is trying to open her own school. Lauren is very no-nonsense and she's one of my favourite characters in the series because she just gets things done. Like peak teacher. V is for Without You by Marley Valentine. This is a contemporary romance and it will wreck you. It's about Declan, who's never felt like he fits in with his family, but when his younger brother dies, he comes home and he reconnects with his brother's best friend, who also happens to be their next door neighbour, and they end up falling for one another. There is a lot of family trauma and toxic family traits in here. Just be mindful of that. W is for Salt in the Wound by Sierra Simone. This is a prequel novella to her Lioness trilogy. I would strongly recommend reading this before you read Salt Kiss. It sets up the arranged marriage between Isolde and Mark and really establishes Isolde's character and who she is, why she is, the way she is, and her belief system. It's also very steamy because Sierra Simone doesn't know how to do anything other than a steamy romance book. This itself is not a traditional romance though, because the HEA is not here, but in the greater series, yes, it's there. X is for Galaxies and Oceans by N.R. Walker, which is a contemporary romance. You have a man who is on the run from an abusive relationship who ends up on a very remote island off the coast of South Australia, where he meets and falls for the resident lighthouse keeper. It's a story of two lost souls finding one another, and it was lovely. It's on my reread list because it's one of my favourite N.R. Walker books. Y is for You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akweki Emezi, and this is a contemporary romance about Faye, who's invited on a holiday, and while she is staying at her current partner's house, she ends up falling for someone that she shouldn't fall for. It's an age gap romance. It is a very interesting story and just one of those books that lives rent-free in my brain. And finally, Z is for Zachary by Louisa Masters, which is the 3rd book in the Demons-in-Law series. This is a queer paranormal romance series, and this story features a dragon and a demon falling for one another. Enough said. And that is my list of recommendations for this round of an A to Z recommendation video. In the comments, I'd love to know, have you read any of these books, or are you planning on picking any of them up? Or feel free to leave recommendations for any titles similar to these down below. Also, let me know if you'd like me to film another one of these sooner rather than later, and I will get to start working on the next list because this is the 10th of these videos that I filmed. I will leave the playlist linked on the screen, so if you would like to watch previous ones, you can. If you just want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave a book stack emoji. Otherwise, I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.